Catherine, what do you make of Cabinet will not extend redress scheme due to $1 billion cost?
Well, if I could take a minute on this. This is the long-awaited report, interim report from the Commission of Inquiry. Why it took so long, no answer has been given. I think the report is appalling, and I think the Minister and the Government's response is appalling. Okay. 8 months, I think this is set on the Minister's desk. This is a report that says a redress scheme should be set up. I accept that recommendation. However, that's not what any of the survivors have asked for. That's the first important point. They have asked for, I was at a meeting on Friday in Tuam, and what they asked for from both ministers present, which was Simon Coveney and Minister Sapone, A, explain the delay in the report, B, tell us where the Commission is at in terms of the extension of its terms of reference. 3, this report is completely outdated. It's an interim report that has been completed since last July. Since then, we've had the shocking findings, shocking to the government, in relation to the Tuam site and the number of bodies, babies buried there and mothers. Absolutely no report anywhere in this report about that situation, what they've learned from it, nothing from the Minister in relation to what Tuam has highlighted and how we're going to go forward. And we're now zoning in on a redress scheme that they didn't ask for at this point, although I would expect that in due course. And we have a Minister telling us that the redress board is not appropriate because of the mess in terms of the cost of the previous redress board, which actually is due for discussion before us on the Public Accounts Committee. Now, I've read it today. Perhaps I need a little bit more distance from it. But I am truly, and I thought I was beyond shocking, I am truly shocked by the Minister's response. Her failure to go before cameras today and outline, her failure to make a statement in the Minister Sapone. I am truly shocked. And I have to say the feedback from the organisations that I know and those affected, including myself, who has been affected on a personal basis, I am truly appalled. What they wanted, what we want, was information, a sense of empowering the survivors by giving maximum information, and what we're getting is evasion, obfuscation, and an insult that a redress board is too expensive. Now, if we look at the redress board that was set up and which is going to come before us on the Public Accounts Committee, the Controller-General, Auditor-General has identified numerous recommendations where the government could learn and have a better redress scheme. And in fact, that redress scheme was, they said it was going to cost 250 million, and it cost 1.2 billion. Their forecasting was way off with many other problems, but I'll come back to it.
Okay, Richard, how do you make this?
Well, it is an interim report. I think it came out quite late today. I think there'll be more follow-up to it tomorrow, and we should hear more from the survivors themselves. It really just confirmed the figures. I mean, it told us that there was 70,000 women and a larger number of children went through the 14 mother and babies homes. It has the recommendation on the redress scheme, which the government said they're not ready to go ahead with. And then, other than that, it said it needed more time to look at more of the things as to exactly what happened. Was there abuse? Were things wrong? And so I think we're going to see some more stuff tomorrow, but it does seem as if they have a lot more work to do. One thing I'm struck by with all of this, Vincent, that this is again another commission investigation, and we're up to our gills in how many different commissions at this stage. But I'm struck that the government is simultaneously making a virtue of implementing all the findings from one commission like Fennelly and everything else, and then choosing simply because it's expensive to overlook these. And the one thing I'm not sure about, and maybe Catherine might be able to shed some more light on this, is if the survivors hadn't been raising the prospect of a redress scheme or trying to get eligibility for one, then I wonder under what grounds the Commission has actually decided to recommend that they be looked at anyway. I don't know whether there's any kind of light on that, but I just can't fathom why a Commission would recommend something when it isn't a prospect that anyone had raised beforehand.
Well, there are actually that issue is worth highlighting.
Briefly,
yeah.
It's
worth highlighting because it wasn't asked by any of the survivor groups at any stage up to now. And it's ignoring what they did ask for And that's what's very important. And the fact that the government is actually rejecting the recommendation is also very significant. But that's for another day.
I think what's poignant, Vincent, is that, I mean, they're slamming it already on the cost, but actually if you read it deeper, that what they're looking for is really information, birth certs, something about their family background. This is very important for people who, you know, who don't know who they are, and who kind of are living in a bit of a limbo, and they would, you know, and the information seems to be there. It seems to be locked up in some filing cabinets, you know, in places.
Yeah, it's actually not. It's actually in briefing documents. 2012 October, a number of briefing documents with all of this information, with serious issues raised about the changing of death certs, the changing of birth certs. All of this information is available at the highest levels in government. None of it addressed in the interim report, none of it addressed by Catherine Sapone.